young men fighting. Look at your women crying. Look at you.
So, a movie just came out called Captain America Civil War, and it was good. It was a good movie. Thumbs up. That's my thumb right there, giving it a thumbs up. But who really cares about movies? They're stupid. They're for idiots and babies and dumb foreigners who don't speak English as good as me speak English. Look at them enjoying that high-budget spectacle purely told through visual language. I hate them. I hate their ability to enjoy things. I can't tell, but I hope they live in a country with malaria or something. But comic books are great. I can't name a single bad comic book except for this one I'm reviewing right now, and all these other ones popping up on the screen, just getting their terribleness all over the place. That one features the wasp getting eaten by the blob. That one has a haunted vagina. Somewhere is a comic where Sue Dimney gets raped and murdered just because DC Comics hates joy. I fucking hate comic books. Enough of that. Marvel Civil War. Published between 2006 and 2007, Civil War was the crossover to end all crossovers. It pulled every hero kicking and screaming into its cynical Mark Millar penned arms and dragged them all down like a pair of cement shoes at a swimming pool. Only quality-wise, of course. Sales-wise, it was like a pair of rocket shoes. Space rocket shoes that launched over its biggest competitors like too many analogies bouncing on a trampoline. Of course, being the crossover event to end all crossover events, it didn't have the courtesy to actually end all crossover events. In fact, if anything, it ushered in a new era of them, one after the other, a soulless industrial machine cranking out crap event after crap event, and oh hey look, what's that around the corner? Civil War 2. And that's looking great. Fuck you, Bendis. Just write Spider-Man forever and leave everyone else alone. But anyway, I'll recap the plot briefly for those of you who don't enjoy brightly coloured children's picture books about death and sadness and politics. The book opens with the New Warriors, just off an adorable series drawn by Scotty Young, the King of Cute. And they die. As a part of their reality show, they try to take down a group of villains including Nitro, the guy who killed Captain Marvel, by giving him cancer. Which makes him less impressive, but still above the levels of Namorita and Microbe? Jesus. He explodes, killing them and 500 other people, including a school's worth of children. And they were just 2 days away from a year without a school shooting as well. In the political turmoil after the Stanford disaster, something that had rather ingeniously been building up in a variety of books before this, the Superhero Registration Act, finally passes. The Marvel Universe was split down the middle, with Captain America leading a team of street-level heroes like Daredevil. Actually, Iron Fist dressed up as Daredevil, don't ask. Luke Cage and Cloak and Dagger, along with the likes of Sue and Johnny Storm, Black Panther and the Young Avengers. Also, Storm is there, but it was hard to say that in a sentence with Sue and Johnny Storm at the same time. Storm and... Iron Man, on the other hand, created a team consisting of that guy who hit his wife one time, Hank Pym, Reed Richards, a guy who literally called himself Mr. Fantastic because he's a douchebag, Wonder Man, a clone of Thor, the Sentry, and a team of supervillains being forced to fight for them called the Thunderbolts. Look, I'm not saying one team is more right here, but come on. Spider-Man, the closest we have to a moral compass in the Marvel Universe, eventually left these assholes after revealing his secret identity to the public and boning himself for the rest of the time. When even the threat of being hunted down and arrested when you are one of the most famous people in the country doesn't stop you leaving your team, maybe you're the bad guys. What was I? Oh yeah, the plot. So after Cap and his team go into hiding, Iron Man convinces Spider-Man to release his identity to the public because... reasons. This will later turn out to be a very bad idea. It was a bad idea at the time as well, in fairness. Meanwhile, the pro and anti sides have a big battle ending with Claw, Clone 4, killing Goliath. If you don't know who Goliath is, don't worry, nobody else does either. We then kick things up a notch when Tony reveals to Peter he's built an extra-dimensional Guantanamo Bay where he's keeping super people without trial. Peter quite rightly peaces out. The anti-registration side managed to break the heroes out of Project 42, the super prison, and they have an all-out brawl between heroes. Oh, and a bunch of mind-controlled supervillains the pro-registration side are using because they're the good guys. Cap's about to win, but a bunch of civilians tackle him and he realizes he was wrong to fight for what he believed in, because he was the one hurting people and not Tony Stark, Iron Fascist. And that's how it ends. Super satisfying, right? In the aftermath of this, all the anti-registration superheroes go underground, and this event leads to a bunch of other stuff happening. Captain America gets assassinated, Norman Osborn controls the Thunderbolts, leading to him eventually taking control of S.H.I.E.L.D. and renaming it Hammer, which stands for HA, acronyms, murmur murmur, extra ravioli. And Aunt May gets mortally wounded, leading to Spider-Man selling his marriage to the devil in the worst Spider-Man story ever. Ever. Including the Clone Saga. This all led to about 10 years of bullshit hero versus hero events, culminating with Captain America and Tony Stark still fighting, as the world literally ends around them. Good job breaking it, heroes. So, a major, if not the major, problem I have with this comic is the characters, in that no one feels like themselves. Millar has this way of writing characters where everyone is kind of a sociopath who has no respect or empathy for other human beings and will just throw insults around. Why is Johnny Storm, a superhero, insulting this guy for being fat? Since when does Speedball, a lovable kid type, act like a fuckwipe insulting Namor, the girl Namor, for having a zit? Why would Captain freaking America call a US soldier just doing his job little man? None of this is bad dialogue for other characters, in theory, but it doesn't even feel like things that would be coming from these characters' mouths, and instead just feels like what Millar thinks sounds cool. He also uses the words idiot and stupid a lot, like Chris Jericho a lot.
You disrespectful, stupid idiot.
Can I have your attention, please?
Of course you have an email, you idiot. Just read it.
Go back to Toronto! From Winnipeg, you idiot!
Nothing wrong with those words in particular, but everyone's go-to in this is stupid, you're an idiot, and it feels inauthentic. It feels like that's how Millar speaks. Not to mention how they act. Before we go any further, I want to say I'm not making any political calls in this video, I'm purely reviewing the material at hand. But the pro-registration side are fucking terrible, awful, fascist pieces of evil shit! Which would be okay if they were the bad guys, but these two sides are supposed to be equally right. And they are, until Tony Stark clones one of his oldest friends, allows that clone to kill a superhero, arrests people without trial and sends them to space prison, and, oh yeah, uses nanotech to control supervillains to force them to fight for him. Those aren't good guy things. They're hashtag supervillain things. Who wrote this shit? Me? Oh, I wrote this shit. Point being though, they were trying to make us like both sides and really divide people on who was right and who was wrong, and how could anyone side with Tony when he does these horrible things instead of, I don't know, fighting supervillains? In fairness, Cap isn't much better, making impressive speeches that mean nothing, attacking Iron Man under the pretense of a truce, and giving up, leaving all his friends in the shit for no adequately built up reason. There's another problem. This story is all over the place. We get barely any understanding of what Tony and Steve are thinking, instead jumping from place to place and plot point to plot point without ever really slowing down. Tony's motivation is just, a lady shouted at me and said I was bad, and Steve is, just because everyone says I'm wrong doesn't mean I'm wrong. And I'm sure it got expanded upon in the 50 billion fucking times they wrote for this book, but I don't have, say, 2 months to spend reading all those books. I'm sorry. Whatever, the story should be told in the book itself. I'm not a fan of big event comics like this where you have to read half the Titans to get any idea of what's happening to any level of depth. I think in a crossover book, every book should stand on its own and be able to be read regardless of the other books. Ultimate Spider-Man's tie into Ultimatum is a good example of this. Whilst Ultimatum is a steaming pile of dog shit, the tie-in is just as good as the rest of the Ultimate Spider-Man stories, and the story functions completely on its own because whilst the Ultimatum wave is a catalyst for the story story itself is about Peter Parker throwing himself in and saving people and being a hero and doing things that don't happen in this fucking book. Side note, I'd like to talk about the fact that there was another big crossover event going on at the same time as this called Annihilation. Taking place in space and starring the future Guardians of the Galaxy, who you may know from the fact that they had a huge fucking movie and now everyone loves them. Annihilation literally put the entire universe at threat. And they make a specific point to say that whilst our heroes were squabbling over a law on Earth, the entire universe was at stake from the Annihilation Wave. It makes the heroes look petty and stupid. And why am I supposed to respect them when they can't take 5 minutes out of punching each other to save the goddamn human race and every alien race in existence? Except the Chitauri. Fuck the Chitauri. As I mentioned before, I feel this book's impact on the industry, or on at least Marvel, was more negative than positive. Whilst Marvel had done a couple of events before, none of them really had been on the scale of this one. And it led to them doing one every bloody year since. You can't read a solid run of a comic anymore without it being dragged into Original Sin or Secret Wars or fucking Civil fucking War fucking 2 fucking fuck. Its character assassination also had long-reaching implications for the Marvel Universe. We were stuck with the Registration Act until 2010, including an entire year's worth of storylines about Norman Osborn running S.H.I.E.L.D. We never had a unified classic lineup Avengers team. Nobody could team up anymore because they were all enemies and the entire universe felt like a convoluted, hard to get into mess that was impenetrable to new readers. Iron Man had to have his brain wiped just to make him redeemable for this travesty, and in probably the most 90s thing to ever happen outside of the 90s, fun-loving Speedball, now riddled with guilt, found out he could only use his powers when he was in pain, so built himself a suit with spikes on the inside and called himself Penance. That's it, right? Do I need to say more than Penance? Penance. Fucking Penance. Hey guys, thanks for listening to my horrible bile and anger. I'm just not going to mention the fact that I haven't made a video in 2 months, because I'm cool like that. Look at that picture, that's me, being cool. That's not Bret Hart, I don't know what you're talking about. I love Canada. I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, it's summer now, so hopefully I have more time to make videos. Instead of, you know, university work, which is basically just stress in my brain. Whatever, it's fine. I'll see you all soon. Got a bunch of stuff in my head. Just hope I can get out of there and onto the screen for you to enjoy.